Very good morning. Um, how are you feeling today, all of you? Enjoying the sessions? No answer? Okay, thank you so much. So I'm going to start with something known as communication skills. Okay, what do you understand by the term communication? Come on, I want answers. I always look forward to, an interactive session. You can unmute and give me the answer. Okay, what exactly do you understand by the term communication? You have a picture over there. Yes, anyone? What can you see on the screen?
Ma'am.
Yes. Yes, what can you see on the screen?
Communication is the way in which one person conveys his ideas to other.
Very good. Anybody else? May I know your name?
My name is Srihil.
Very, very good, Srihil. Anybody else? Anyone else? See, there is much more to communication than just sharing your ideas, okay? I would say Srihil is correct, but he's half right. Anyone would like to add to that?
Exchanging information by speaking,
Okay.
writing, using
Yes.
other medium.
Okay, yes, you're right. May I know,
Chandan.
Nandan? Okay, Chandan. Thank you, Chandan. Yes,
Chandan from
yes.
Madikeri.
Yes, Chandan. Yes, you're right. Again, I would say like 50%. Anybody else? I can see some beautiful faces, young, intelligent, young ones there. Come on now. We have been communicating all these years. Yes, yes.
Communication would also stand up for like it will come around the verbal or written, or you can share your ideas how you like to.
Okay, verbal and written. And who is this?
Joseph.
Okay, Joseph. Okay, verbal, written. Anything you would like to add to that? Joseph?
No, ma'am. It can be verbal or written, visual. These are all medium of communication.
Okay, yes. Visual, verbal, or written. Okay, thank you, Joseph. So we'll go back to the slide. Yes, communication is all that, but it is much more than that. Okay, and you can, whatever you can see here, these are all the different modes of communicating that we are into now. Okay, now see, when we say communication skills, okay, that's on a higher plateau. Okay, that's something much more than whatever we understood what communication is right now. Now, three of you gave answers. It was Chandan, Joseph, and Srihel and Srihari, and your answers were right. Okay, your answers were right, but that is just communication that we are talking about. Okay, but here today I'm going to take you through communication skills. Now, what all things come under the so-called skills? You have presentation skills. Okay, you have teamwork, negotiation skills. See, if you know how to present yourself, that's not a skill. But if you know really to present really very well, okay, that becomes a skill. Negotiation. All of us know how to negotiate, but are we successful in cutting a deal? Then yes, we are skilled when it comes to negotiations. Next, you have business writing skills. Writing skills, all of us do have, don't we? All of us know how to write, but can you call whatever you have as a skill? That's the important question you need to ask yourselves. Likewise, teamwork. Okay, just give me a second. I'm admitting some late comers. Okay, you have selling. I mean, selling and marketing when it comes to negotiations is one and the same. And you have something known as cross-cultural communication. Can somebody tell me what is cross-cultural communication? Is the screen visible, by the way? Do I need to maximize it?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay. What can someone, teamwork, selling, presentation, we all know. Can someone tell me what is cross-cultural communication? Yes, anyone? We all know this, okay? You all know this, but I guess you are hesitant to answer. See, each culture has its own way of, they have their own codes, and you need to uncode and encode and decode it according to their cultural specifications. And that is what is known as cross-cultural communications. For example, if we are, say, Christmas is around the corner, New Year is around the corner. So suppose if you want to gift someone something, which color paper would you like to, wrap the gift with? Come on, answers now. Yes. Which color would you prefer? Red? Red. Okay. Anybody else? Colorful, isn't it? We Indians usually go after brilliant, bright colors. Say red or yellow, glittery, with tinsel, white, with lots of spangled stars and so on. But what would you think if I tell you, suppose if you are meeting a Japanese person, a person from Japan, and if you give him a gift which is wrapped in red or white, it is supposed to be, white is supposed to be death and red is supposed to be, something which is not, they wouldn't like it. Okay, so they expect a gift to be wrapped in dull brown or gray paper. Can you imagine that? As simple as giving a gift, it has a lot of meaning. So that is wherein cross-cultural communication comes into the picture. Now you might ask, the next question is, ma'am, why do we need to know, how to react or interact with a Japanese or people across cultures? We'll be working in India. Probably you're right to some extent. But then don't forget that you are, enrolling yourself for a master's in MBA. Okay, it's a master's program, and you're supposed to be working as managers down the line. And plus, if you are in an MNC, probably you'll be thrown into contact, or you'll come into contact with a lot of people who are from different cultures. So cross-cultural communication is very, very important when it comes to dealing with people. We need to be sensitive towards other cultures. And why do we need to go across or overseas? Let us think about our own different states. Karnataka, you have Kerala, you have Gujarat. Don't we have lots of cultural differences? One India, different states. Don't we have different cultural, don't we have different cultures and, nuances in our own cultures? Yes or no? Yes, isn't it? See, for example, in Karnataka, a bride is dressed in red color. But if I'm not wrong, in Kerala, I think a bride is dressed in white, isn't it? Mundu Veshti. Am I right? Am I right? A white sari with a golden border or something like that? No, am I right or wrong? I'm asking you. I could be wrong. I may not be right. It's most, isn't it? See, for example, Christian brides, they dress in white, but in Hindus, we believe in red. So that's what I'm telling. Cultural differences, when it comes to cross-cultural communication, we need to be very, very sensitive. And youngsters today need to be sensitized towards this very, very essential facet of communication. Okay, and influencing skills, I didn't go into that. The better you are at communicating with people. And when I say communicating, see, when the moment we say communication, you know what people think? Most of the youngsters thinks it's about speaking. It's about the fluency that you have in your language, your hold on language. It's true to a certain extent, but it is much, much more than that. Okay, communication is much, much more than your fluency, be it any language. Now, what do you mean by a win-win conversation? What is a win-win situation? The remaining, I'm sure all of you know, I have explained some. What would you like to speak on a win-win situation or a win-win conversation? What is it? Come on, I want you to think. What is that? What is a win-win conversation? Would anyone like to try? Come on, I'll be admitting a few students, so you can, till then you can think about and give me an answer. What is a win-win conversation? Okay, you can give a huge round of applause to the ones who came late. Not because I'm happy that they have come late or they have come at all, but see, as budding management professionals, you need to be on time. Actually, I wanted to start on 10, okay? I usually start on 10. I don't wait for anyone. But then today, since you are freshers and probably, I thought, okay, let me give them some line. Okay. So, yeah, coming back to the question, what is a win-win situation? What is a win-win conversation? Okay, a win-win conversation wherein you try not to hurt other people in conversation. For example, right now, I spoke a little acidly to the ones who joined late, didn't I? I said, let us give them a huge round of applause to those who joined late, didn't I? And those who joined late, did you like that? Come on, someone who joined late, please answer me. Did you like that?
No.
Ah, yes. So you wouldn't call that a win-win conversation. Okay, it's a win-lose conversation. I win or you lose, or probably you lose and I win. I mean, it can be either ways. I would say it as lose-win conversation. I'm losing over here and you're winning. But again, jokes apart, you should be very, very courteous, cordial when you're talking to people, because if you hurt someone, be it intentionally or unintentionally, and this is for those students who joined late, please don't take it in a negative manner. Okay, I am probably your mother's age, and if we tell you something, it's for your good. Please understand that. Am I clear with you guys, those who have joined late? Clear? Come on now, yes or no? So yes, it's for your own good, and please make sure that you maintain time. It speaks a lot about your personality, your attitude, and so on. For example, suppose if my session was supposed to start at 10 today, wasn't it? That's the time I've given you, and most of you have finished your breakfast and you are there on time. How would you have felt if I had started at 10:30 or 10:15? How would you have felt? Tell me. Come on, honest answers. Would you have relished it? Would you have liked it? What would you have thought of me? Come on, will you give the answers are very rude, but I would still like to listen to those answers. Come on, answers, please. What would you have thought of me? You wouldn't have seen me as a professional at all, and you would have gone outside, and probably in the course of your conversation, you might have told your friends, ಎಂತದ ಇದು 10 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು 10:15 ಎಂತ ಕೇಳುವವರಿಲ್ಲ ಎಂತ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Isn't it? Wouldn't that what would have been your answer? They ask us to be at 10 and they themselves are so very unprofessional. So that is the impression that we are going to give. So a win-win conversation is one where you will be, you need to be very cordial and courteous when you're talking to people. So let's go into the basics of communication, a little bit of what communication is all about. And this answer has been already given by Srihari, Chandan and Joseph. Thanks to all of you. It is a process by which we, it's not just oral, it's verbal, it's non-verbal as well as visual. What do you mean by visual? You look at people, okay, you see them. 1 second. Yes. Is the screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that sometimes, there will be some problems. Okay. 1 second. What do you mean by verbal communication? We all know, speaking, reading, writing comes under listening, speaking, reading, and writing comes under verbal. Okay. Now, communication is basically divided into two huge ones, two groups. One is verbal and one is non-verbal. In some cases, they say it is 3. That is whatever I have here. In some cases, they say it is 4. That is written communication is added here. But usually written speaking, it comes under, 1 second. It comes under verbal itself. Non-verbal, there are 10 different non-verbal languages. And visual is where you look at a person when he or she is speaking, and that's we always like to look at someone who is speaking rather than listening to a voice without a person's face. So visual communication gives you a lot of ideas into what the person is trying to say. That's because, 1 second, I'm admitting some people. That's because we understand visual clues more clearly than our oral or vocal or verbal ones. Okay, what is the importance of communication? Why do we need to know how to communicate properly? What is the importance? Can someone read? I don't read from the slides. Okay, can someone tell me what is it that you can see on the slide? Not just communication. Effective communication is a key qualification. Okay, why is it a key qualification? What is the importance of a key? See, a key is a tool which allows you to open doors. You know, it enables the opening of doors. So if you have effective qualification in your repertoire, you can go places. You can open as many doors as you want. And in simpler terms, it means opportunities. And it is very, very important. It is extremely important. I've seen many instances. Like I've seen many good students. See, we are an engineering college too, and I handle classes for engineering students as well as architecture students along with MBA. So I have seen many instances whereas really good students, okay, really good students engineering, they know how to program or analyze very well, but they fail to get a job in the first instance. That's because their communication was very poor. So please remember, of course, domain knowledge and degrees are very important. There is no second to that. But you need to arm yourself with other skills, and communication is one of the most important factors which will add to your success. And we have already seen all successful people are really good communicators. You are a good communicator need not be a successful one, but because you need to have the other facets of it too. You need to have good education. You need to have you need to really know the basics of your domain knowledge. So these are all other important things. It also depends on how cordial you are, how good a team member you are. So just good communication doesn't guarantee you all these things. But successful people, among their other qualities, they are very good communicators too. Some people are born with the gift of the gab. I'm sure you have heard about that. What do you mean by gift of the gab? They can speak very well. Okay, they can speak very well. But for the rest of us, the good thing is we can always be learned. And what is the purpose of communication? Okay, what is the purpose of communication? 1 second. Is someone, okay, I can't see. Vishnu, why is it that you can't see? Not visible? Is it visible now? Vishnu, I think you have pinned me. Unpin me. Vishnu, can you see now? Those who cannot see me, what you have to do is you have to unpin. Can you see now? Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You just unpin me, or you have to pin me, and you can the slides will be visible. The screen will be visible. Okay. What is the purpose of communication? See, it's used to inform. Okay. Example: teaching, research, training, just talking to people. Convincing. Herein we speak about negotiations and so on. Okay. Unless and until you are able to convince people, you cannot succeed in marketing. You need to have superlative convincing or persuading qualities, if you are dreaming to be in marketing. And then to motivate. This is something what the leaders do. And it is really a very high level of communication if you have to motivate someone. Okay. And then to inquire. Buying, selling, marketing, whatever it is. So this is the purpose of communication. Of course, it comes into many other things also, but these are the four, how do I put it, the four foundations on which communication is dealt with. Oh my God, this. The communication process, feedback is very important. It's very, very important. That's why I'm having it first here. Feedback, how do I put it? It is the end point of communication, and without feedback there is no communication. Okay, the feedback always loops the sender and the receiver. The message, the medium could be oral, it could be written, it could be like whatever we are having right now, PowerPoint presentation. So it can be anything. It depends on the situation. Okay, so you can see here the sender is sending a message and the receiver is receiving it, and they are linked together with the feedback. See, now so I'm talking to you, okay, and if whether you can see it or not, I wouldn't be knowing. I'm just sending messages. I'm talking to you. Yes, and unless you tell me, just now Vishnu told me that it's not visible, and unless and until you give me the feedback, we cannot correct ourselves, or I would like to say the communication will not be a successful one. And there is many a slip between the cup and the lip. Have you heard this saying? This is an English phrase. There is many a slip between the cup and the lip. What does it? Oh, many have written it's not visible. Nikhil, you pin my pic there. You pin and it will be visible then.
Now visible, ma'am. It's okay.
Okay,
It's okay.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Because the moment it's a chat comes up, this presentation kind of goes away. So that's how I see what is happening. Okay, there is a saying that there is many a slip between a cup and a lip. Can you tell me what that is? What's the meaning of that idiomatic expression? Anyone? I've just written the first half of it. It means, though you might, the literal meaning is, you might have a cup of coffee or tea or a glass of juice or whatever, but until and unless you finish drinking, there is no guarantee that you might drink it. It might fall, it might spill, and so on. So here in this instance, what it means is, we might, communicate so many things to people. We might end up telling so many things, and we might even think that we have communicated whatever we wanted to. But there is a big but here, which means, that there is no guarantee that the receiver or the listener has understood all that you're trying to tell. Okay, that is known as many a slip. The reason could be, you might not mean what you say, or what you actually say, or what you think she might have said. The same happens, whatever the other person is listening, he might not understand what you're trying to tell him. Or, we think, many a times, what happens? We assume a lot many things. We assume a lot many things, and that is why communication errors happen. And that is why communication goes wrong. So we need to be very, very careful, and we need to look into all these aspects clearly. And how do we do that? How do we do that? We need to communicate for results, and these are known as the 7 C's. We have 7 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, these are known as the 7 C's of communication. You need, and if you have to communicate, if you need to get results, if you want to end up as an effective communicator, you need to be credible. What do you mean by credibility? You need to be honest. You need to be candid of whatever you're saying. Whatever you tell anyone, whatever you speak should be based on facts. It should be courteous, like win-win conversation. It should be win-win communication. You need to be courteous, P's and Q's, and you need to follow your P's and Q's very clearly. It should be very clear. Whatever you are communicating should be very clear. There shouldn't be, a quarter for any doubts. It should be correct, factual, Consistence means it need to have a consistency, a free flowing kind of thing. Concrete, whether it can be validated or not. And concise. What do you mean by concise? Precise, nothing more nor less. See, I always believe in having a, how do I put it, minimalistic slides. I don't put too much on my slides, because you know what happens? If you put too much on a slide, it becomes wordy. The conciseness or the preciseness of the communication that you want to share will be lost. See, if someone, if the slide is visible or if it is not visible, please unmute and tell me, okay? Because I can't see here. I'm just on my slide right now. So please unmute and inform me so that I can do something. But for all of you out there, you pin me so that the presentation will be visible. Okay, so this is, if you look into all these 7 C's of communication, probably you can expect to be a better communicator. But then communication doesn't happen 100%. Okay, even in the best possible situation, you cannot expect 100% effectiveness. That doesn't happen. The maximum is, can someone tell me how much do you think is the maximum percentage of communication that happens? Effectiveness? What is the percentage of effectiveness in a how do I put it, in a best scenario? What do you think is the percentage? It is 75. Next, it should be, I usually like to call this as the KISS principle. KISS principle. Now, are you all listening? It should be, what is the full form of KISS? Full form of KISS is keep it short and simple, silly. If you want, you can have an extended KISS with keeping it short, simple, strong, and sincere. KISS principle. Okay. So what does it mean? What do you mean by short? It should be, like I told you, precise. Simple. That is, simple here means you need to use simple day-to-day words. See, once upon a time, we used to communicate to impress. Okay, we used to communicate to impress, but not anymore. These days, we communicate to express. So you need to use simple words, simple language. Of course, if you're talking to a person of your own level, educational level, then you can go ahead. Because, and please, we shouldn't use any jargon. What do you mean by jargon? See, jargon, there are different types of jargon. You have a technical jargon, where it's a highly qualified, evolved language. A technical jargon is a evolved language. For example, you have some medical terms. That's known as the medical jargon. Only doctors understand it. We common people, we have to look up on Google. We need to Google up the word to get the meaning of the word. You have technical jargon. For example, if I say AI, what is AI and ML? ML is machine learning and AI is artificial intelligence. So if you are, if you're talking to people who are outside your domain area, you need to use simple words. Okay. For example, some management words. An engineering student might not understand some management terminologies and vice versa. So you need to, and then you have the second type of jargon, which is used by a set of people of the same group. For example, we have teenage jargon like macha, da, then some other, I don't know, what are the terminologies that you use? Especially you need to read some SMS language written by, youngsters, typed by youngsters. I don't think I'll be able to understand half of it. You use short forms, isn't it? ASAP, FYI, yes or no? Those are jargons which are used by a certain set of people. Usually youngsters have their own jargon. So you should not use jargons when you're communicating for results. Keep it short, keep it simple, keep it strong. What do you mean by strong? See, in some instances, you need to see, each word has a different meaning. No two words have the same meaning, okay? Each and every word. I would say words have different shades of meaning. For example, the simple word like, time sense and punctuality. Do you think it means the same? No, of course not. It means two different things. The meaning, the general meaning might be the same, but when you're communicating for results, You cannot go by using, you cannot use a generalized term. You need to use the precise term for the message to be strong enough to make sure, to ensure that the result is out there. You get the results. And sincere. Candidness, honesty, you need to be sincere when you're speaking. Next, you need to look at these things. Who, why, what, how, when, and where. Whom you are communicating with. In some, if you're communicating with your friend, you can use an informal way of communication. Like, hi, Macha, how are you? When you're communicating with the teacher, you can't say, hi, Ambika, how are you? Can you? Of course, in Western countries, that's the norm. But do we do that in India? Can you say, hi, Ambika, how are you? So, who? Then why? Why is it that you're communicating? What is it that you're communicating? How do you need to go about this? When and where? These are some of the W questions, the W words, which you need to look into carefully whenever, whether you're talking to someone or probably you're dictating a letter or writing an email, everything. So you need to be very careful of these things if you want to or if you're communicating to get results. Now, these are the top communication skills: active listening, non-verbal communication, clarity and conciseness that I have already told, friendliness, that is win-win communication for you, confidence, okay, empathy. What is empathy? Can anybody tell me what is empathy? Come on, what is empathy? Yes? What is empathy? Anyone? See, being sympathetic towards someone is, you feel sorry for the person. You feel sorry. That is sympathizing with someone. But empathy, one second. But what is empathy? When you are empathizing with someone, okay, you try to see the things from their perspective. You try to see things from their angle. It's like, in common parlance, we call it as walking in somebody's shoes. Put yourself in someone's shoes. It doesn't mean that you are wearing his shoe, literally. It means you are trying to see things from his or her perspective. Empathy is very, very important. I'm sure you have heard about IQ. Have you heard about IQ? Is that a question to ask? IQ, all of you know, it is known as the intelligent quotient. Have you heard about EQ? That's the new buzzword today. That's the new buzzword in communication. EQ is emotional quotient. That is how well you can communicate with others, how good a communicator you are, and if you really want to excel, if you really want to, arm yourself with this key skill of communication, you need to be empathetic towards the people whom you're talking to, the people whom you're communicating with. Okay, open-mindedness. Okay, we need to be open about certain situations or whatever. We need to respect each other. It's always very true. I'm going back to an old English adage, an idiom or a phrase which says, give respect and take respect. We should always give and take respect. Okay, we had a highly qualified person in our college. Okay, he had done his PhD from Queen's University, London. He's not there anymore, but I see him as my role model. He was such a down-to-earth person. He used to even address students as madam. Once I told him, sir, he was like probably in his 70s, and the students were 18, 20, wasn't it? So once I asked him, sir, why do you address them as madam? They are your children's age. And then he told me, madam, don't forget, we should always give and take respect. See, your life is a learning curve. The entire life, you don't think that your education finishes with the MBA. Definitely not. Your entire life is a learning experience. That is provided you want to learn something. So that is when I still remember that incident. Next, feedback. Like I've told you, it is very, very important when it comes to communication, and we always need to use the right medium for communication. Suppose today I could have, I didn't have used this PowerPoint presentation. I could have just spoken without my video, but would that have been as effective as when I speak to you when my video is on and when you can see the presentation? Isn't there a difference? So you should be careful while picking the right medium of communication. Now, these are the 7 essential elements of communication skills: listening, non-verbal. Okay, this is I've gone through this again. I mean, we are going to this again. So listening, it's very, very important. We always believe that, see, the thing is, we teach our children to speak, read and write, but we don't them how to listen. We don't tell them, we don't teach them how to listen. And when it comes to verbal communication, the 4 components of verbal communication are reading, writing, speaking and listening. Okay, and listening takes the maximum in those 4 components. Suppose if I were to prepare a pie chart of these 4 components of verbal communication, it's known as LSRW, that is listening, speaking, reading and writing. Listening would take up 46 to 47%, speaking would take up some 35, reading would take up some 16 and writing just 9. So listening is very, very important. There are different types of listening and we'll go through it when we go through the regular classes. Non-verbal, it's not just body language. Okay, non-verbal communication encompasses some 9 to 10 non-verbal languages, and we communicate through all these different languages. Non-verbal, there is no verbal there. That is, there is no speaking, listening, reading and writing, but you're talking to people, and that is more actually, it is much more clearer than whatever you might say. See, you can tell a lie, but you can't fake. You can't fake. Your body doesn't know how to lie. So even if you're telling someone a lie, your body, it's known as leakage in the parlance of communication. Unknowingly, you will be giving yourself away. So non-verbal communication is very important. Next, like I told you, you need to be clear, precise, and you need to be confident enough. What is the meaning of confidence? How do you gauge somebody's, or how do you know whether a person is confident enough or not? Of course, the body language. Okay, the posture, the way you are speaking to someone, and your eye contact. See, we always need to make eye contact with people. It's very important. So some of these pointers tell you whether the person is confident or not. Next, personable. What do you mean by personable? You need to be presentable. See, when we speak of presentation skills, we usually think it is a PPT, isn't it? But presentation skills, it's not only presenting, a PPT or talking about management theories. No, it's how you come across to people, presenting yourself. How do you come across? What will a person think when he looks at you from across the road? Or imagine you are sitting in a mall, you're having a cup of coffee or an ice cream in an ice cream outlet. We'll be talking to someone, or even if we are alone, we will not know what our body is doing, do we? Whether you are sitting in a slump position or whether you are sitting upright, whether you have a frown on your face. All these things tell a wealth about people that we are looking at. And unknowingly, people might be observing you. You might not even be aware of that. So that is being personable. We need to look into this aspect. I always tell my students, presentation is not just whatever you're doing in class. How do you behave on the campus, in a canteen, in a bus? These things are what you need to look into. Next, we need to be patient enough when you are composing, because results don't happen overnight. It takes time. So you need to be patient when you're communicating with people. Give them some time. Give them some slack. So good what is the carry away today? What is the takeaway from today's session? Good communication skills are the key to success. If you want to be successful, make sure you have good communication skills in your it's not enough if you just have it in your resume. Make sure that you try to learn these things, and learning is a continuous process. I've told you. You just cannot say that you know everything as soon as you acquire a degree. Definitely not. I still learn. I still learn a thing or two. That is, again, I would like to reiterate here, provided you are interested to learn. You need to have that attitude towards learning. Only then will it happen. Okay, so thanks for listening. Do you have any questions? Any questions? I'm open for questions now. Any questions? Yes? No? Thank you. I'll take you through one more presentation now. That's a fun presentation. 1 second. Sorry about that. 1 second. Okay, we'll go to just 10 words, probably just 2 or 3 minutes. I like this very much. So if possible, I usually go through this. 10 words. Can anybody tell me which is the most selfish one-letter word? It's I. Okay, we need to avoid it. The most satisfying two-letter word? Anyone?
We.
Yes, very good. Who was that? We need to use it more often. The most poisonous three-letter word? Anyone? Oh, 1 second. Ego. You know, we need to overcome it. I remember, you know, I had attended a national seminar once, and there it was about, you know, a resource person was talking about why the divorce rate is going up. And he just told one word, okay? He said, if both of them have ego, one has to go. I haven't forgotten that ever. So we need to overcome. Most of the problems happen because of this three-letter word. The most used 4-letter word, not what you think. It's love. Okay, we need to value it. The most pleasing 5-letter word is smile. So you need to smile more often. And I'm sure you know about the physiology of smile, don't you? Just 13 muscles in your face, and it relaxes your body, and it galvanizates your mind into doing more things. Then the fastest spreading 6-letter word is rumor. Again, half of the problems happen because we believe whatever we hear. So next time, don't believe what you hear. Try, test, and make sure that it is whether it's true or false. We need to ignore it. The hardest working 7-letter word is success. See the description, the hardest working. So you need to work really, not hard or harder. It should be hardest for you to achieve success. Then the most enviable 8-letter word is, can you think and give me an answer? I wish this was an offline class, so we could have really, looked at each other, and I could have seen whether anyone is giving the answer. Here I'm handicapped. If the screen is full, I can't see who is answering there. Anyone? It's jealousy. The key was in the word envy, enviable. Envy, it's jealousy. You need to distance yourself from it. Please understand one thing. Each one is unique, okay? Don't ever compare yourself with anybody else. So when you don't compare yourself with anybody else, where is the question of jealousy? Only if you compare, it's a jealous, isn't it? And if you're jealous of someone, isn't it? And if you compare yourself with somebody, that is the most unkind thing that you can do to yourself. So never ever feel jealous and believe that you are unique. The most powerful 9-letter word is knowledge. There is nothing, you cannot substitute knowledge. You can never. However good you might be in other aspects of life, if you have no knowledge, it's of no use. So try to acquire more knowledge. And the most valued 10-letter word is friendship. So always maintain it, and hope we have become friends now. Yes. So hope you have enjoyed today's session. That's it for today, guys. It's 10 to 11. So I brought a small presentation, thinking that I just wanted to, how do I put it? I didn't want to bore you more. So I'll see you somewhere next week. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Stay safe, and see you next week. Thank you. Tomorrow you'll be having one more session. The entire week we have, you'll be meeting all the faculty members. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. I have enjoyed talking to you. Can't wait to meet you in person. Take care, stay safe, and have a great day.
You too, ma'am.
Thank you so much.